See, if you don't think you're sick, if you don't think the problem is you, if you think the problem is everybody else, Jesus doesn't have much to offer you. Because Jesus came for sick people. And if you're not one of them, then he didn't come for you. Now, with that being said, I got some bad news for you. You guys ready for this bad news? You brace yourselves. Can you handle some bad news today? I'm going to get to some good news. First, we've got to deal with the bad news. Can we do that? Help me out. Yes or no? All right. You said yes. Here's the bad news. You are screwed up on the inside. You are. You are a mess. Yeah? Are you glad you came to church today? It's like, I thought he was going to encourage me, you know? He just told me I'm a mess. You are a mess. In fact, I wrote it like this in your notes. You are sick within. You aren't just a mess. You're sick on the inside. The very place that Solomon says to guard, protect, watch over, there's a sickness in there. Now, we live in a culture today that says, no, the sickness is out there. Like, I'm not the problem, they're the problem. Like, those Democrats are the problem, those Republicans are the problem, those teachers are the problem, those people, the criminals are the problem, this person's the problem, that person's the problem, the white people are the problem, the black people are the problem. We live in a culture where everybody likes to point the what? The finger. And the Bible says, stop doing that because you are the sick one. You say, where are you getting this from? Well, I didn't make this up. Like, this is Jesus talking here, okay? And I mean, I'm not Jesus. I'm quoting Jesus here, okay? Just to be clear. In Mark chapter 7, some of these Pharisees, they're religious guys who like to live from the outside in. In other words, they like to focus on the laws and the outer appearance. And, you know, they come to Jesus and they have a complaint because they're watching Jesus' disciples have this meal and they were eating food without first washing their hands, which was a big no-no, okay? Because according to the Pharisees, righteousness was an issue of obeying a set of rules on the outside. It was an outside-in approach. And so they're looking at Jesus' disciples and they're just kind of just going at it without washing their hands. So they criticize them and say, you know, why are your disciples eating without following the rules and the laws, the ceremonial laws? Jesus makes this comment. He says, guys, it is what comes from say with me, the inside that defiles you. You guys think that it's dirt on the hands. It's filthy hands that will defile you, or eating the wrong foods that are going to defile. You think that the problem with society or the world is that things on the outside are defiling the inside. You got it all wrong, see? It's the inside that defiles us. Listen to what he says. He pushes in. For from, say with me, from within. Where's that? The soul, my heart. For from within, out of a person's heart, come all these terrible things. Evil thoughts, sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed. He continues, wickedness, deceit, lustful desires, envy, slander, pride, foolishness. This is not an exhaustive list, but it's pretty good. You agree? He could have kept going. Ego, pride, selfishness, on and on and on and on. He says, guys, you got it all wrong. It's not the outside that defiles a person. It's what they're born with. It's the stuff on the inside. See, we live in a culture today when someone does something horrific or they murder someone or there's a mass shooting, all the experts go out. They start saying, oh, well, what was his environment like? What were his parents like? What happened to him? Who hurt this person? Why was he mentally ill? What were the outside influences? It's like, no. Like, that person, like me, like you, had a problem on the inside. Now, does external environment influence that? Absolutely. I'm not going to stand up here and say that it doesn't. Otherwise, parenting wouldn't work, right? The whole point of parenting is to influence your children from the outside in. Of course, environment matters, but our issues are on the inside. You ever hear somebody say, she just makes me so angry? You ever hear somebody say that? Listen to that statement. She, outside, makes me angry. That's interesting. Jesus would say this. No. her behavior brought out of you what already was there. See, the anger was already there, and she just triggered it to come out. The issue is not her. The issue is the anger in your heart. If you can get this, you will start down a path of emotional health and spiritual health like you've never seen before. Because you will stop pointing the finger at him and her and your spouse and your son or your daughter, and you'll say, the issue is me. I have a problem with anger. Jesus would go on to say, all these vile things, adultery and lust and covetousness and ego and selfishness and pride, they come from, say it with me, within. And these are the things that defile people. So when I call you sick, I'm not the one calling you sick. Jesus is. That's bad news. You agree? It's not very encouraging. The truth hurts before it sets you free. Now, that's the bad news. What's the good news? You say you're going to give me some good news here. Well, the good news is that Jesus came for some sick people. Amen? Anybody excited about that? Like, the whole purpose of him coming to this earth was for sickos like you and me, okay? He came for sick people. In fact, in Matthew chapter 9, Jesus is hanging out with some of these fellow sickos, okay? Deranged people that didn't obey the rules, didn't obey the law. In fact, one of the main guys was Matthew. Matthew was a chief tax collector. Like, he was a bad dude. He was a mega thief, okay? He would overcharge people on their taxes. First of all, he was Jewish. He would overcharge his own people, the Jews, and then pay the Romans and then pocket the difference. And so he would become filthy rich. And everybody knew he was doing it. So people hated Matthew because he was a thief. Well, he decides to leave this tax collecting job and go follow Jesus and change his life. Well, then he throws this party for a bunch of his other non-religious, scummy people or whatever, what do you want to call them? And all of a sudden there's at this party and all these disreputable people are there, and here come the Pharisees. And they start to criticize. Oh, why do you eat with the scum of the earth? That's literally what they say. Why do you eat with such terrible people? Listen to Jesus' response. He says to his critics, healthy people don't need a doctor. Sick people do. I didn't come to call those who think they're righteous, they got it all together. No. I came to come for those who know that they are sinners. The reason why I have made any progress in the spiritual life whatsoever in the last 2 decades is because I know that I am a sick person. In fact, that's the reason why I make progress. I'm not starting out on this deal saying, I'm a pretty good guy. Like, I lead a church, and I got these kids, and I got a decent marriage, and I kind of got my act together. No, that's not where we start. We start with, I am a mess. My motives are all wrong. At times, I'm jealous. At times, I'm lustful. At times, I'm greedy. Many times, I'm selfish. Help. I need you. I'm so glad you came to this earth because I am sick. See, if you don't think you're sick, if you don't think the problem is you, if you think the problem is everybody else, Jesus doesn't have much to offer you. Because Jesus came for sick people. And if you're not one of them, then he didn't come for you. And church for you is going to be this thing where, gosh, I hope the pastor, he says something positive and encourages me, and I hope that my brother comes. I wish my wife were here because they really need this message. I'm fine, but they're sick, right? How many of you do that sometimes in church? Gosh, I wish my nephew was here. What about you? Do you know how sick you are? Do you have enough self-awareness? I was in the sauna last night. I like to work out and then jump in the sauna and kind of finish up that way, and many of you know that by now. And I'm sitting there, and, there's etiquette in the sauna. You know what I'm talking about? It's a little room, it's a lot of guys in there. There's certain things you don't do. Well, the guy right next to me gets a phone call. Now, there's phone etiquette in the sauna. Like, First of all, number one, you don't answer. Second of all, if you do, it's a quick, hey, bud, I'm in the sauna, I gotta go. So he picks up, and, there's like 8 of us in there, and he proceeds to have a full-blown, loud conversation. And I'm like, okay, he's just gonna go for 30 seconds, and he'll be done, because he knows. Like, there's guys in there that could be raging out on steroids, like they're on the edge of killing somebody. You know what I'm talking about? You ever make one of these dudes? Like, you don't cross the line. Like, I've witnessed almost 3 or 4 fights in the sauna. So I'm like, he's gonna hang up. He's gonna go 30 seconds, he's gonna hang up. No problem. No, he keeps talking, and he's loud. So I'm sitting right next to him, literally, like I could touch his leg. And so I just give him one of the looks, like. And usually that works, because it's real close to each other. I mean, no, not this dude. Totally ignores me. And so I give him another 30 seconds, and I shoot him another one. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, we don't want to hear your conversation. And nope, doesn't budge. So then I start to fantasize. This is how sick I am. I start to fantasize, like, you know what I could do? I could like Will Smith slap him right now. I could just go, and the phone, I envision the phone smacking out of his hand against the walls and crashing on the ground. I saw it in my head. Is this sick? And then I imagined that he got aggressive with me, and I was gonna stand up and be aggressive, and I felt aggressiveness come up inside my soul. All in my head. Like, oh, can I take him? I'm looking him up and down. Could I take him? Man. And then, I kind of came to my senses, because I'm a pastor and I always have to do the right thing. I settled down and I'm like, no, just let it go. And sure enough, he talked for the entire time. And we are sick people. I'm just telling you. And the more aware you are of your sickness, the more Jesus is going to be able to help you.